The pyramids in 1857, the pyramids at Giza, from Guide for Travelers in Egypt and Adjacent Countries, subject to the Pasha. To visit the pyramids, one must mount one of the many donkeys waiting for the hotels, and accompanied by its driver, ride to Old Cairo, and from thence cross the Nile to Giza. A guide is unnecessary. The hire of a donkey varies from 10 to 12 piastres according to the worth of the animal and the ability of its master in speaking European languages. From Giza, the road passes through a grove of high-grown palm trees over several canals that are from the end of January, mostly dry, and finally over green fields verging westward to the border of the desert, where these wonderful structures are raised. And then this author goes on to let the traveler know what types of scenery he or she will see as they get closer to the pyramids. And then some further information on how you actually, because at this point it was actually possible to climb the pyramids. Generally, only the largest pyramid, that of Cheops, is mounted. Two Arabs take hold of the traveler's hands and pull him up. A third pushes him from behind, and in this manner he ascends on steps 3 or 4 feet high to the top. Though this is an inconvenient and fatiguing way of ascending, it is not dangerous, as the steps are more than a foot broad and cut out of rough stone, which allows the foot a firm hold. On the way up and on the summit, the traveler is solicited for baksheesh on all sorts of pretenses. When the height is once gained, the view compensates richly for the annoyance caused by this constant begging. Even in winter, it overlooks a green sloping plain extending towards the east, and between the fields and palm groves, the gray villages of the Felaz, and I know I'm not pronouncing that correctly, so I apologize for my pronunciation, look like ant hills. On the opposite bank of the Nile, the steep Mokattam Mountains appear like a yellowish wall, at the north end of which Cairo is situated. The river itself can only be seen from here at the time of the inundation. Looking up the Nile on this side, the eye rests on dark palm groves that grow on the site where once stood Memphis, the city that has left the pyramids as gigantic monuments of its burial place. Nearer to this royal city of remote antiquity in groups are the pyramids of Abu Sir, Saqqara, and Dashur, forming a sort of landmark to the desert, which gives a sharp outline to the green country around. On the first rocky elevation, covered with sand, stands the pyramid we mounted, and behind it one nearly as large, differing only from the other by part of the facing still adhering to the top. These two, as also the third, which is much smaller, are built with their angles in the same direction towards southwest. To the right and left on the rocky plain, which is covered with sand and ruins, are various sized tombs of officers who are buried here near to their kings, built of blocks of stone with flat tops and slanting sides. The eye, ranging to the west, overlooks the hilly desert, the red, brown, and yellow color of which is relieved neither by grass nor by a single tree. Now, the pyramids as they were in the pyramids at Giza as they were in the 1870s from John Murray's guidebook or handbook for travelers in Egypt. The excursion to the pyramids is no longer what it used to be. Carriages, a bridge over the Nile, and a macadamized road have superseded donkeys, the ferry at Giza, and the tortuous dusty footpath. It is no longer necessary, however high the Nile may be, to go many miles out of the way in order to avoid some canal or fields under water. Starting in a carriage from the Isbekia, the pyramids may be reached at any time of year in 1.5 hours by the excellent high road, which lies above the reach of the inundation, and crossing all the principal canals on stone bridges leads up to the very base of the Great Pyramid itself. Some will regret the change and not appreciate the facilities afforded to the European, and then there's a word in Greek that I can't quite make out there, of Cairo, for aiding in the task already too well performed by those who should know better of disfiguring the monuments. While others may think that in a country where to lay a railroad is easier than to make a road, a first-class carriage and a locomotive would be a desirable and obvious improvement upon a rickety chaise and a pair of screws. And then the passage goes on to talk about how long it takes to get to Giza at that time and what type of guides you should hire and all the particulars that you might need to know. So stay tuned. Bye.